Welcome to another episode here on A New Life in France. Today we're going to be talking about a subject which lots of people talk about when they're looking to buy a house here in France, and that's septic tanks. It's something that, as I say, everybody talks about. Everybody wants to know, does a property have a septic tank? Is it on mains drainage? The reason these things are important is there's actually a lot of legalisation around septic tanks in France. Things you need to know and things you need to do. So let's dive into what that looks like. And so what we're going to be looking at is fosses septiques. Are septic tanks. That's what it's known as in France. And there are three types of septic tank, and this is where there's a little bit of confusion. So actually here in France, a fosse septique actually is an older style septic tank, and many of these now are being phased out because now they want to be able to have conforming septic tanks. So actually a fosse septique, as it's known in France, is being phased out. Now what you're looking at are really two mains of septic tank. You are looking at a fosse toute eau, which basically means fosse for all water. And that basically will take everything that you need. And that would be what is seen as a standard septic tank here in France. So again, just be aware of the terminology used there. What you also then have is microstations. And so microstations are much more compact, and they're normally used where you are short of space. So when we start to look at that, you'll see on screen in a moment one or two images. These are images of our septic tank that we had put in 6 years ago. And when we moved to our property, which is a complete renovation, there was no mains drainage and stuff went somewhere. Our house was that old, there were no toilets inside, there was no drainage inside. There was actually the remnants of a toilet outside a wooden shed with a big copper brass type storage thing underneath it, which obviously we dug out and we obviously never used. So to be able to use that, we had to get a septic tank installed. So when you're looking at septic tanks, the things you need to remember, and some of the words you'll probably hear, are SPANC. You'll hear that a lot, and that is the governing organisation here in France for making sure that septic tanks are put in properly and that they are approved. Those are the things you need to remember. So most of the time you should be using a certified installer. The certified installer will normally liaise with SPANC, and SPANC will then approve the plans for the septic tank. They will also come out to inspect it as well. So there is a real process involved here to be able to get it right, and you do need to be able to get it approved. When you get a septic tank put in, so in terms of that, and the one that you can see here, the one we had in, okay, it's a large septic tank, it goes into a big hole in the ground, it's then all connected up. But equally from that, then we also then had a filtration bed as well. So that basically means that everything in the septic tank is what's going to be taken away. So that's the grubby stuff, the mucky stuff, and then the water then that has been filtrated goes into filtration bed, and basically they are pipes that you can see are laid within the ground, and then that just releases the water. So that releases water that is fine, and it can go back into the water course, it goes into the soil, etc. But the grubby stuff is in that septic tank. So when you have that tank installed, be it a microstation or be it a main tank that's installed, they will have to have been signed off. They also have to conform to certain standards, and most of the tanks here in France now that are coming in must have the NF sign on them. They must have that, which means Norme Français, which means France approved, basically. So you'll see the big tanks that you'll see there. You see the big tank that we were having installed, and that will then be able to take everything that's coming in. We'll also have a pump alongside it, so it's pumping things, filtrating them as they go through as well, just to make sure, because you need to get rid of your waste, and that's what you need to do. So when you're going through that process, the things to think about is SPANC will come and sign them off, we'll make sure it's conforming, your certified installer will make sure everything's put in, and then you have your certification to say that your tank is conforming. Outside of that then, what you will probably find is that every 4 to 10 years SPANC will come out to inspect that tank, make sure it's working. You will also have to make sure then you've got the evidence of when your tank has been emptied, and you must get your tank emptied by a certified again, certified company. So you need a certified company that will come and empty your tank. They'll come with a big wagon, hose pipes everywhere and big pipes, and they'll suck out all that mucky stuff and take it away. And you obviously pay for that, and then they will also give you the certificate to say they've done it, and you've got proof of that should SPANC want to see that. So let's then look as well then if you're buying a property. If you're buying a property without, then you will have to get a tank installed. You'll have to get it installed within the first year of you having it. If you're buying a property that has a septic tank, then what it will need as well, normally less than 3 years old, you will need the certification from SPANC that it's an approved tank. So that will be there, and that will be in the dossier that you get when you buy a property. If you're buying a property and it has got a septic tank that hasn't been approved, then again you will have a year to put a new one in. If you don't put these things in, then you're likely going to be fined for not doing so. So you can be fined for not having a conforming tank, not having a tank at all, but also you need to be aware, and this is why you need to have a conforming tank and have it installed by a certified installer. You can be fined if you're found that your tank is leaking and leaking into the watercourse. So you do need to be aware of that. So septic tanks is a really big thing. And septic tanks as well will also have a price to pay. And typically for a septic tank installation, you will be looking at anywhere between €7,000 to €11,000 to have one installed, signed off and ready to go. So you need to again be aware of that, and that's why septic tanks is always talked about on forums and people when they're buying houses. You need to be aware of this because that can be quite an expense. If you think you're doing a renovation project and you're buying something for 30, 40, 50, 60,000, then again you could actually be looking for paying more than 10% of your property value to put a septic tank in. Equally, if you're on a larger property, say you're a larger property and you've got a gîte complex and so much more, then actually that price for a septic tank will be even more, because in some cases one septic tank won't do two properties. You need to be aware of that when you're buying properties and you want to have a gîte on there or something else. Then you need to think about the conforming standards, and that's why septic tanks is such a big subject when people are buying properties. You just need to know what needs to be done and the way to do it, and that's why always, if you're in doubt, talk to a certified installer. They will come out. They will also be able to check with SPANC as well if the septic tank is there, if it's certified and everything that goes with that. And then also you can go through with peace of mind of getting it right. And it is one of those things you do need and you will need to be able to make sure that your water is going somewhere and also the other stuff is going somewhere as well. We've put a fact sheet together which gives you a lot more information, so please download that fact sheet. But it is a really important thing to understand and think about when you're looking to buy a property. Does it have a septic tank or not? Or are you on mains drainage? If you're on mains drainage, then you are laughing because you don't have to think about septic tanks and all the costs that go along with it. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode. It's a short one. It's about septic tanks. It's about things people ask all the time. So remember, always on a Monday we have a topic, and then on a Wednesday we're very much into our properties. Friday we're on to French lessons, and we will be premiering, and we're really excited about this, real life stories. This weekend, the first episode is coming out. You'll be able to actually see a real life story of somebody moving to France, and we are going to be following this couple through the following months to give you that real insight of the move and everything that goes along with it. So make sure you tune into that as well. If you're not a subscriber, please click that subscribe button below and subscribe so you are alerted on every single episode we have. And don't forget, you can go to anewlifeinfrance.com, all about moving to France. You can also then go to our new property portal, which has thousands of properties for sale, and that is on forsaleinfrance.com.